Hello and a very warm welcome to the brand new edition of Policy Watch. I'm Kriti Mishra. Today we'll analyse two important topics: second Renewable Energy Invest Expo and comprehensive policy to deal with excess sugar production. But first up, a closer look at the second Global RE Invest. India will hold the mega renewable energy event from 3rd to 5th of October this year. It will also host the first assembly of International Solar Alliance and the meeting of the energy ministers of Indian Ocean Rim Association countries. The three events will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the presence of UN Secretary General on 2nd October in New Delhi. And to discuss more about this, I'm joined by Mr. Praveen Kumar, Additional Secretary, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Welcome to Rajya Sabha Television, sir. Given the fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been awarded UN's highest environmental honour, how important are these events in the clean energy sector in the wake of this development?
See, this is a very proud moment for the country, this honour being given to our Honourable Prime Minister, because the entire green movement and the International Solar Alliance has arisen because of one vision he had of using cheap renewable energy for universal access. This he proposed in 2015 in November and our International Solar Alliance along with the French President. Now it has come to fruition and we are going to have the first assembly of the International Solar Alliance from 2nd to 5th of October in India. And this is the first intergovernmental body headquartered in India. I mean, first time such a body has been created which is headquartered in India. So that's a proud moment for us. And I'm sure this ISA being in India will help the green movement in India and the entire world.
So how important is RE Invest 2018 as a platform for strategic development and deployment of renewables?
See, RE Invest is a place where all stakeholders, including those in the development of solar power, those in the manufacturing of solar power, those in financing, those in research, academics, they'll be coming together, both from the country and from the entire world. Along with that, there will be the national governments of more than 40 countries, and there will be state governments. All will be there, showcasing their policies, presenting before them opportunities, the challenges, and solutions will evolve. MOUs will be signed. So this RE Invest will help not only the country, but the entire world in taking the RE movement further.
So the government is also aggressively pushing solar power and the target is to achieve 100 gigawatt by the year 21-22. So how important is the first assembly of International Solar Alliance?
See, the government will be achieving this 100 gigawatt well in time, much before the target of 2022, much more than that they will be achieving. But RE Invest will help us in not only in achieving it in a very smooth manner, but also in carrying the story of India abroad. RE Invest will help give a confidence to the investors that India is a good investment destination, is a safe investment destination, there is a lot of opportunities in the country. Then we expect a lot of MOUs to be signed, agreements to be done between the Indian developers and the international players. Other factor which we expect is in the research wing. Agreements will be there between the Indian institutions and the foreign institutions. Basically, there will be a common brotherhood to help further RE and thus fight climate change. So in that way, India will be very much benefited by RE Invest taking place along with ISA and IORA Ministerial Energy Conference.
And how would these events showcase India's clean and green energy market?
See, we have an exhibition by more than 150 exhibitors who are exhibiting there. The various aspects of their trade. This includes developers who will be showcasing what kind of investments they desire. There will be financiers and there will be institutions of component manufacturers. So that way people are aware. And we will also be having, the government of India will also be having a pavilion showcasing what we have done and what we achieved to do. There are a lot of sessions on various aspects of RE, including, apart from solar, wind, biomass, we are even envisaging where we will be in 2030. So we are working on that also, that by 2030, what should be the energy basket, what we should work on that. We are working on storage. Storage has to be an important component of RE if it has to grow. So storage. So all these things will, basically as I said, will give the various opportunities which are available and various challenges we have to meet, various solutions which will evolve to So that way it is a composite, comprehensive place where the entire RE sector will be analyzed, threadbare and solutions offered.
And how do you see government's endeavours to scale up capacity?
See, government, right in 2014 itself, government proposed a very ambitious target of 175 gigawatt in RE, including 100 gigawatt in solar. That was a 10 times jump from the earlier target. And I am happy to say that we are well on the way to achieve that, much more than that. We have already achieved 72 gigawatt of commissioned power, which is producing power today. 19 gigawatt is under implementation on the field. Another 27 gigawatt for which bids have been floated. So 118 gigawatt is there on the way towards achievement. The question of another 57 gigawatt of capacity to create, for which we have laid down a detailed trajectory. In the next 2 years, the bids will be coming and we will be achieving more than the thing by 2022. Other thing which has been done and which will also be showcased there are new things which I have been experimenting with, like floating solar. Floating solar we are experimenting. Then wind solar hybrid. All have complementarities. We want to maximize the wind solar hybrid. Then we are working on offshore wind, which has a much better capacity utilization compared to onshore wind. Then we are working on storage. So all these things are having a different sessions in this RE Invest. So this is all help the country, and as a result, country can also share our experiences with other countries, like other countries which have good solar installation, like Africa. We will be able to give our knowledge, technical know-how, and our industrial partners who can invest there. So this is a good opportunity for other countries also and for the country also.
Mr. Kumar, investment is a very important component in the RE sector. So what kind of new avenues and vistas would be open for investment in India?
See, the investor, what does a financial investor want? A good return and security of investment and a stable policy which is not changed off and on. So that we are assuring. Once a PPA is signed, that we ensure that the PPA is not reneged on. People follow the PPA, and we are the investment takes place after the PPA is signed. So there is assured return given to investors. So that way, investors need not fear anything as far as the investment in the country is concerned.
And how
we are also working on different models. We are also working on various models for risk mitigation, which will also be discussed in the RE Invest.
And how would these events further and also strengthen government's Make in India and Startup India initiatives?
See, the wind sector, we are very strong as far as Make in India is concerned. Almost 70% of the wind components are manufactured in the country itself. As far as solar sector is concerned, almost 90% is being imported. So we have brought in policies where we will have manufacturing in the country linked to the power production. So we expect, and we are working on various research institutions will be working to improve the quality of the products. So we expect that with the opportunities here, the foreign manufacturers who like to invest will see the opportunity here how to invest in India for manufacturing purposes and help in the Make in India. Foreign financiers to see how to finance the Make in India initiative. So we're expecting some help in these sectors also.
And lastly, sir, what kind of global participation and engagement are you anticipating in these crucial events?
See, as you are aware, along with Reinvest, we are having the first assembly of the International Solar Associations taking place at the same time. Along with that, we are having the second ministerial meet of energy ministers of IORA countries, Indian Ocean Rim Association countries. So we are having energy ministers from these countries participating. In ISA, 46 countries have confirmed the participation, of which 32 are energy ministers who will be participating. Similarly, in IORA, 15 countries have confirmed the participation, of which 9 will be ministerial level. So it's a high level participation will be there. Apart from this ministerial participation in these assemblies, in the RE Invest itself, we are having almost 155 speakers, of which 55 are foreign speakers from 15 countries. They will be sharing their knowledge and wisdom with us, with our speakers and experts from our country. Then in the exhibition, there are foreign companies which are exhibiting. In the delegates, the foreign registrations. So it is an eclectic mix of all in the entire country. So it's a replica of the International Solar Alliance. The way The countries have cooperating together to bring in International Solar Alliance. These people are also cooperating together to further the revolution in the RE sector.
Thank you so much for giving us those crucial inputs, sir. So a massive renewable energy push by the government is expected. Time for a short break. On the other side, the comprehensive policy on sugar. Stay tuned to Rajya Sabha Television. Welcome back. You're watching Policy Watch. The Union Cabinet has approved a comprehensive policy to deal with excess sugar production in the country. Due to carryover stocks, the liquidity problem of the sugar mills is likely to persist. In order to mitigate that problem, the Cabinet has approved a package of over 5,500 crore rupees to support the sugar sector by way of offsetting cost of cane. And to discuss more about this, I'm joined by Mr. Alok Sinha, former Chairman, Food Corporation of India, and also by Mr. Tajamul Haq, former Chairman, Commission for Agriculture, Cost and Prices. Welcome, gentlemen, to Rajya Sabha Television. Let me begin by asking you, sir. The government has unveiled a lot of measures for cane farmers. Now, what are the highlights and objectives of this comprehensive policy?
In fact, this is a very important additional factor which will help improve the sugar economy as such. This is the first thing that I wanted to say, because earlier cabinet decision was another thing like encouraging ethanol production and proper ethanol pricing, so that the sugar mills can recover from there, and also the sugarcane growers can be paid their due payments. The main problem today in the sugar sector is that sugarcane growers, they are not able to get their payment not only in time. There is a huge kind of arrears for some time, for 2 years, 3 years, there will be no payment to them. And in order to meet this kind of challenge, I think the sugar mills need some kind of assistance. Everybody thought that way, and this is how, both in terms of encouraging ethanol production and then again this transport subsidy being given to them for aggressive export promotion. Like, unless you export sugar, the kind of huge stocks that are piling with the sugar mills, plus in the coming season we're expecting bumper sugar production again, sugarcane production again. True. Again, if they have to crush sugarcane, then there will be a real soup. So right now, I think government has thought that at least these two very important steps recently, I think, have taken, and it will help both in terms of diverting cane production to ethanol production, and secondly, this particular thing to encourage the sugar mills to aggressively promote exports, because unless they target the export market internally, they will not be able to take out their stocks. And then if they don't able to market it out this way, both internally and externally, I mean this export market, they will not be able to pay the arrears to the farmers. So then again, the arrears will pile up, and the farmers' agitations and all kinds of things will continue. So I think government, in its best judgment, and I think it is a right step, that they decided to promote export of sugar, and further they wanted to give some kind of encouragement and incentive to the sugar mills.
Mr. Sinha, the fact that assistance would also be credited directly into the accounts of the farmers, how important is this move to bring down the arrears to farmers?
Well, if the payment chain works well, definitely. The whole thing is arisen because of a happy thing called problems of plenty. Indian agricultural produce and productivity is on the increase. So happily, India is now sitting on excess sugar stocks, unlike say 10 years back when there was a sugar shortage and we had to import it. However, the sugar prices internationally are not going up. So therefore, in order to cope with the excess sugar stocks, it has to be exported. So it is a very good step, a very timely step to ensure that the excess stocks with the mills are exported outside, money comes back, and with that the farmers are paid their arrears. However, we live in a democracy, a very vibrant democracy. We have elections every 2 years, 3 years, depending on which state, which Lok Sabha. It has to be politically acceptable. So if much would be made of the fact that 5,000 crore rupees will be given to the millers to cope with this problem, which would hopefully also obviate the problems of the farmers' cane arrears. I think the second step should be, like in the milk sector, most of the milk marketing is done by a clutch of cooperative federations. in which whatever profit they make is plowed back into the federation. I think the time has come to organize farmers' cane cooperatives, which in turn would have an equity participation in the sugar mills, so that it is very transparent that the chain of flow of funds goes down till the farmers level. But
Also,
it's a very good step.
Right,
It has to be lauded, it has to be welcomed. But it's a first step.
Absolutely, sir. Mr. Haq, how would this policy and this move stabilize the domestic sugar market?
This may not be sufficient, as I said. This is a good step. This will help. The main problem of the sugar sector, I mean, for the last several years, since independence and even before that, was that I think it is always cyclical in nature, sugar production. For 2-3 years, there will be bumper production.
Yes.
And it will be unmanageable in terms of huge stocks piling up. And in the previous year, we must have imported also sugar from outside. And then again, the additional stocks. And then when this kind of situation comes, sugar prices crash in the domestic market. Sugar mills are not able to pay whatever is due to the cane growers. And as a result, cane growers' agitations also will start. So this becomes a real problem. And then what happens? Now, if the market prices go down, sugar mills are not able to pay arrears, then cane growers become disincentivized to produce more. After 2-3 years, you will find again there will be a huge shortage of sugar production, cane production or also sugar production as a result. And then the market prices of sugar will go up. And then again for 2 to 3 years, I mean that trend will continue. And then again after that. So this is basically a problem of, I don't say farmers' response to the market is not really very good, I should say. They should assess the market every year. The market information system, price information should be perfect with them. And if that is there, probably they will rationalize their production system. Second thing is that the sugar mills should have a complex where they can not only make sugar, but also ethanol adequately. Right. Most of our sugar mills are very small. They don't have that kind of system of producing ethanol on a larger scale. So unless you develop that, as you do it in Brazil, in fact, whenever the international prices of sugar are low, they try to produce more of ethanol. And as of today, like you can see the oil prices, globally crude prices are so high and unmanageable in many cases. So if you produce more of ethanol and then try to meet the oil demand, then both will be happy. Both the sectors will move smoothly, the sugar sector as well as the oil sector, crude oil sector. But somehow, because of this kind of decision not taking place on the part of the farmer sometime our system of guiding them properly, that also does not take place properly. And the sugar mills also function on ad hoc basis. Now, if after a year or so things improve, they forget what happened 2 years back. So they don't plan things properly, don't have that kind of perspective plan, how to move using both cane for sugar and also using cane directly for ethanol or biodiesel kind of thing. So I think unless we have that, things will not be very stable or smooth. But still, this will help immediately to address the problem of farmers' huge cane areas, partly because the sugar mills will be in a position to probably pay back the money which is due to the cane growers. So
but the government has also unveiled a policy for ethanol production.
Yes,
Will that
exactly.
help the farmers?
That will. That's what I'm saying. So recently, these two things I think are very positive kind of indications that government is sincerely thinking to address the issues. But then sugar mills also have to think rationally and develop a perspective plan for their production system. And also the sugarcane growers should respond to the market with well-informed kind of decisions should take place on the part of the farmers also.
Mr. Sinha, Mr. Haq is mentioning about sugar mills. Yeah. Now this policy, how will this improve the liquidity position of sugar mills so that they can make payments to the cane growers?
Well, in the corporate sector, for the company, what is most important is that the money flow should not stop. So it seems what has happened is that because of increased output of sugar cane, which has led to increased manufacture of sugar, they are sitting on stocks of sugar which are not selling. So their flow of money has been badly affected. So with this subsidy, which would be spent in through a transport expenditure, it is hoped that the sugar stocks will be cleared and it will be exported, money then paid for the sugar, and the ways and means position, the liquidity of the sugar mills will improve. We have to ensure that with that improved liquidity, the cane arrears of the cane growers must be paid immediately. Because otherwise, if the chain stops at the level of the sugar mill, then as Dr. Haq said, it is just a first step. It could then turn out to be a jerky step, because then the cane grower might feel discouraged from further cane cultivation and would divert to some other crop. So therefore, a holistic outlook is needed. I am not criticizing this. It's a very good step. It's a welcome step. It's a first step, but it is a first step. It must lead to some other steps also.
Mr. Haq, how will this policy facilitate export of sugar from the country?
Because what happens, if the government is subsidizing the transport cost, that itself will be a big thing.
Exactly. Transport and freight. Yes.
So the total cost of export will come down, as a result of which they will be able to do it. But at the same time, at times when this kind of huge stock is there, import duty also has to be rationalized. It has been done already.
Yes.
But I think it should be maybe, I mean, depending on how it works out, these two policies that we have announced already. So if it works out well, then there is no need. But otherwise, again, maybe we need to say that in the next, at least, season there is no import at all. There should be maybe a quantitative restriction. It is not just imposing tariff, but a total restriction, because things are really bad. And during the time when sugarcane growers are agitated for not getting payment for their kind of cane that they have sold to the sugar mills, I think this will be unmanageable both socially and politically. So I think it is government anyway is monitoring things properly, I should say, and doing their best, and hopefully things will improve.
Right. Lastly, sir, cane is a very important cash crop and an effective tool for doubling farmers' income by the year 2022. Yes. How important is this policy for meeting that larger goal?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that question. I think this government has to be praised time and again for accepting the Swaminathan Commission report's recommendation that MSP should be on the basis of input costs plus 50%. But that will work, as has been said before, if marketing is organized. Suppose I'm a dal farmer and you promise me a good MSP and I go and grow dal and then you don't buy it from me. Then I will be in the trap of the mandis and those who sometimes manipulate the mandi prices. So therefore, even here it is very good. It will go a long way in ensuring that farmers' income is doubled. But the sugar cane must be bought up immediately, must be converted into sugar immediately, and the farmer's price must be paid back to him immediately. If there's a delay in that, then it is not a good thing at all.
Right, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this very important topic. So clearly a very important policy to support the farmers in the sugar sector. That's all we have for you in this edition of Policy Watch. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Rajya Sabha Television.